Hi, next up we've got a F61 telephone by Kristian Kirks, and probably in my opinion one of the best made telephone I've come across. It is really well made. Show you the handset when I've got that. I've got that all in bits. It's even got the name on here, Kristian Kirks, a telephone fabricator. This one's dated 1965, and let me show you the insides. It is really well made. Here we've got the dial. The dial is beautifully made, very clean. It is not the same as the one I showed previously on that other phone, but this also builds up speed by having said that. If you dial one pulse, it sends out 2 pulses, but it'll only send 1 pulse. It's so that the dial builds up the right speed. I know I'm a funny way of explaining that. I'll try it again. You dial up 1 pulse, dial one pulse, but the dial sends out 2 pulses, but only 1 pulse is sent. The contacts come in such a way as to only make sure the one. So any numbers that are dialed, there's an extra 1, but that doesn't get sent. I'm making that awkward, don't worry. There's a dial, as I say, but very well made dial. The dial is also made by Kirk. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but there's a little light's not. It's actually doing it late at night. Well, a bit late at night. There's the name there in that ring, Kirk. It really is a well-made telephone. It really is. You've got lovely terminations, very clearly marked. You've got your 2 capacitors and the induction coil. Really well made. Now, the bell is on the base plate, and the way that it is makes contact through those 2 contacts there, which rest on, let's say we put that back, which way around will that be? It's either on that pair of contacts or that pair of contacts, but it rests on there, and it's continuity to the bell. Also, like the American phones, this uses a bias spring, which is adjustable by whatever notch you put it in, and that gives bias to the bell. It's beautifully adjusted. You've got loud soft control, that's that plate under there, and also a diagram. Yep, we've got a diagram as well. I don't know how well that'll show up. I would do it in 2 bits, but close up. There's one part of it. Another part. And the third part, F61, which is the number of the phone. There's the circuit to complete. The resistance of the bells are fairly high. They look like they're 1,000 ohms per coil. You've got 1,000 down there and the other one 1,000, so it looks like the impedance is 2,000. It is without doubt nicely made. Let me turn him over. Let's turn around so you can see it. On the base you've got the information of it. The exact model number is F61B. I don't know what the B signifies, but that is the number of the phone. I say it was made in 1965. These adjustments there are for the loudness and softness of the bell. Unfortunately, it's missing 2 of its feet, but that's not a problem. As I say, you can either there's people selling them on eBay to fit the normal 706 telephone, and they sell the little feet, so presumably you've got 4 of those feet, so you could remove the 2 last ones that are on there, which are in bad shape, and replace it. Now, I haven't said where this phone comes from, have I? It was made in Denmark, so it's a Danish phone. I think it's a company which goes back quite a few years. The handset is fairly distinct, and you've got this this part's called a spit cap. It's so that it you speak in it, it tends to be easier on the mic. This is similar to our 332s, so that's a spit cap. You've got the receiver, the spit cap. I haven't taken those off. Let's turn him over and have a look at the dial. This is, as I say, it is a really nice looking dial. And after all these years, it's still working. The governor, if I can point to it, where's my pointer? The governor is in there, that round part, which is reminiscent of the Western Electric dial as used in the States and on other phone dials, but mainly the ones on the state. You've also got numbers above there, 2020, that might have some significance with the make and break, I don't know. But as I say, there's the dial. Let's turn him over and have a little look on the back. Funny enough, this phone has got a carrying handle. Well, this was in 65, and they probably had that before 65, so perhaps one of the original phones that had like a carrying handle. Let's get to the dial. There's your dial. Notice the letters are somewhat different to the English or the American dial. Of course, a lot of these are abbreviations or for the Danish. Got a number down there as well. You can see that. I'll put it up there, which is definitely from Denmark. And poo-pooing my idea about automatic dials having that space. This has also got a space. So I'll have to add this type of dial on the fact that there is a space there and it's not an automatic electric dial. The case is made of good old Bakelite. It could do with a clean. I know you can get stuff that I suppose it's a slight abrasive, I don't know, but I know BT got stuff. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was like in a tube, and that would sort of renovate or bring the old Bakelite, making it look nice again. You can see under there it's gone quite, it's quite rough to the touch, but a bit of work on it, which I'm not going to do, you could get that up looking quite good. The number, where the number goes in, is okay, it's not broken at all. In fact, these phones tend to seem to fetch a little bit more money. I don't honestly know where I picked this one up from. It was probably bought the same time as those other phones I previously have put up. Because there's not so many older phones that are being offered on eBay or Etsy. So, you know, obviously the good ones are going. So I'm very grateful I got this one when I did. Also, this one just shows the normal handset, and the dial is a black plastic. But I believe I've got another one of this phone. I'll have a look upstairs, which has brass adornments to the transmitter and receiver, and also has a brass facing dial. I don't think I'm dreaming it, but I will have a look. So that'll, if it is, I think it's a Kristian Kirks, so it'll be exactly the same phone, but with those added adornments. Anyhow, it was unexpected. I was going to put this one up today. It's dark out. I had a bit of luck watering the plants in the greenhouse, so I had a bit of spare time. So that is more or less all I have to say. But this is perhaps, as I said before, perhaps one of the really well-made phones, and well, as I say, nice and easy for maintenance purposes as well. And the capacitors are ones which you'd see, well, I say recently, but this was the metal cased ones. Yeah, I can't think what I'm going to say. There's obviously two capacitors on here. Anyway, I'm trying to find things to say, and I don't need to because I've said all I should say. There's your diagram again. Now, I just can't get over the fact that it's so well made. Look at the sort of finishing off with the wires. Nice gentle coil of the wire. It's, you know, it's wide up, and the cables themselves are nicely laced in. It's nice seeing stuff when it was made really well. I noticed, you know, our stuff, well, not the telephone exchange I used to work in, the older stuff, the wires were beautifully laced. You look along an MDF, main distribution frame, or an IDF, and you could see all these beautiful terminations. They were, the stuff was laid in, it was laced, it was waxed, composed compared to the moderner stuff, which is just as functional, but it didn't look as nice. But there again, that comes with age. Things change, and they tend to change, I believe, for the worse. But anyhow, I'm going off on a tangent, not going to. So once again, thanks for watching. Any questions, please ask. And I will pop this one up on good old YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thank you.